Hey, what's going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Season 4, Episode 13 of Fear the Walking Dead, which was titled Blackjack. Probably my favorite episode of this half season so far. I just really liked it, how they kind of focused on everyone except for, a few characters here and there, but for the majority of them, they did focus on them pretty damn well, and I don't know. A lot of this episode was just very much slow, but it was a good type of slow. It was the slow that was important to me. It had some really deep themes. It had some really awesome sort of character developing moments. Specifically, I'll go in depth in just a second. But it was a different type of episode, for sure. So it focused on three groups. We had Luciana by herself, and then she found the guy named Clayton later on. We also had Morgan, Althea, and the new people, and I'm about to call her Naomi again, but June, all on their own by the truck, kind of just waiting in the road, trying to find more people, trying to also discuss stuff with the crazy lady who keeps on, talking to them, warning them about different things, and by the end of the episode, holy shit, that was intense. I will go over that in a second as well. And last but not least, we had probably the main part of the episode, which was with John and Strand on the little island area, wherever they are. Can't really tell why they're trying to cross that river. Is it the only way to get across it is that way? Is it not possible to get around? Maybe I missed it, but to me that was interesting. I like the whole alligator situation, the fact that they had to try to work towards trying to get away from it, and it really showed two different sides of the coin. It showed John being the positive, optimistic one, and it showed Strand being the negative, pessimist one, he's thinking this is never going to work, we're never going to be able to get across, and then, John's thinking, no, we can get across, we can do it. And I really like how they showed both of the sides of the coin there, two completely different people and two completely different viewpoints on life overall in the apocalypse, and that's something I really, really enjoyed. And then, of course, we had Luciana talking to Clayton, which kind of just gave Luciana some more meaning to her character. She says she has things to make up for. Part of me doesn't really understand that. Does she really have things to make up for? Is there really that many terrible things that's happened that she's done? She hasn't really done that many terrible things. So, I don't know. Just things to make up for. Apparently, she blames herself for Nick's death, even though that has nothing to do with her. But it is what it is. I did like that. I did like how she found the beer, and that it was kind of symbolic, the fact that it was the beer from it was the beer that Jimmy put in there from the one episode when they were going through the different boxes and putting stuff they didn't need in there, and Jimmy put his beer in there. That was the same beer. I thought that was pretty symbolic. And then we have this crazy lady, which probably the most exciting part of the episode was honestly that ending. Holy shit, she comes up behind with the truck. I don't know what she's trying to do. We don't really know her character that much, why she's doing what she's doing, and people call that as a negative point. They say it's a bad thing. They say, oh, we don't know exactly what this character's motives are, so that's automatically negative. But I'm sitting here like, that's not automatically a negative. Just because we don't know exactly what the character's motives are is not a negative. It means they're going to give us time to figure it out, and they're going to put pieces together and kind of show us rather than telling us, which is something that movies and TV shows should always do. They should not lay out right away as a villain is approached, being like, okay, this is what the villain is trying to do, this is what the villain is planning to do. No, that's a terrible way to write your story. Look at the MCU, for example. Thanos. Thanos was introduced in 2012. We did not learn his true intentions till 2018 when Infinity War came out. That's how good villains are developed. We don't need to learn their true intentions directly as they're introduced. Now, in some cases it fits. Negan, it kind of fit. We kind of understood Negan right when he came out the gate, because that's who Negan is. Negan is the type of person who wants to get his point across as soon as possible. He wants to tell everybody who he is, and he wants everyone to know that he means business. Obviously, when we first learned of his name, we didn't know exactly what he is planning to do. But when we first met him himself, he was, giving orders and telling people what he's about, what is his motives, why is he Negan. But we obviously have to learn more about his character as time goes on. It wasn't just all given to us right then and there in episode 1 of season 7. But for example, go back to the Thanos point, we see him in 2012 in the Avengers. We see him in Guardians of the Galaxy. We see him in these different points, and we get to learn a little bit about him. He's kind of like this bigger, guy that people look up to, and then we don't really learn till the end of Avengers Age of Ultron that he is trying to collect these Infinity Stones for his gauntlet. We kind of learned that. We're like, okay, that makes sense, but we were like, why? Why does he need them? And then we learn, obviously, in Infinity War that he's trying to balance the universe by eliminating half of them. And it makes so much sense, and they put his character together perfectly. Obviously, if you read the comics, you probably already know that, but this is disregarding the comics. This is just basing it off of people who are just watching the movies, just like I try to do for the Walking Dead. They're not gonna assume people know exactly how characters act because of the comics. They're never gonna do that, because if they did that, they're completely different universes. You know what I'm saying? They make the characters different. They make them, act different. So you should never just be like, oh, I'm just going to assume that this character is doing this because of what they did in the comics or whatever it may be, or because they act like this in the comics. Don't assume that. You might, predict that, but you can't just assume it. And that becomes problematic because it makes, your understanding of characters completely different from what the directors and writers are trying to give you a direct representation of the character. That was a little rant there. I like to get on rants in my Fear reviews because I'm going to be honest, there's really not that much usually to talk about with Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, I don't hate the show. I just don't love it nearly as much as The Walking Dead. So it kind of falls short of discussion. I kind of feel like my discussion for it is surrounded sort of around the idea of whether or not I like the episode instead of the deeper meaning behind it. Because the show has meaning behind it. It does. But nowhere nearly as deep as The Walking Dead. Nowhere nearly as deep as what I can push deep into when it comes to the main show. And I just don't have as much interest, I guess, for Fear the Walking Dead to even try to push deep. Because, for The Walking Dead, before I do a review, I usually watch it twice, right? For The Walking Dead, I don't. I watch it once, and then I give you guys my review. Because I just don't feel like watching it again. Not because I don't like the show, but just because I don't want to take time out of my day to watch it again because I don't feel like I need to. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't obviously a bad thing. It's not a good thing either. It just means the show is not as great as The Walking Dead. But that's not a bad thing. It still is amazing in its own way. And I definitely think Blackjack is a solid episode. And that ending, I thought was perfectly done. I mean, it could have been a little bit better. I felt like it felt clunky in certain ways. Like when she came up and held out the machine guns. Instead of Morgan just saying, "Get down," Althea should have been the one to say, "the machine guns," like whisper it kind of under her breath and kind of realize if they're on the right side, if the truck's on the right side of them, the machine guns are going to pop out of the left. So she's going to realize the machine guns. She's going to say that under her breath, and then everyone's going to realize, and then Morgan yells, "Get down," and then they get down just as the machine guns are going, and they don't show them get down because I want them to make it so we don't know if anyone got out of there alive. 100% they all got out alive, I guarantee you. Maybe one bullet hit someone's leg or something, I don't know. But I guarantee you they all got out of there alive. But it would have been a little bit more intense if not everyone did. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. That's just kind of all I have to say about this episode. Pretty good one. I'm excited for the last 3. Apparently they're filming in a hospital area in the city, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that. I don't know what city. I think maybe Austin, Texas. I don't 100% know what city exactly. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.